Welcome to the Clear the Air podcast. I'm Karina.
And I'm Kaylee.
Today we'll be asking Eric, Brianna, and Jacob questions about the consequences of vaping. Eric, what are the short-term consequences of vaping?
Well, there are many short-term consequences of vaping, such as harder breathing and increased heart and blood pressure. It can also give people a sick feeling, making them cough. When they use it for the first time, they can be instantly hooked.
That's interesting, Eric. Rihanna, what are some long-term consequences of vaping?
Increased risk of strokes, heart attacks, as well as heart diseases. There's many types of cancers regarding tobacco, including esophagus, the larynx, mouth, the throat, the stomach, and the bladder.
Eric, what are some ways you can support others to stop vaping?
Some ways we can support others to stop vaping is to get them to do some alternative activities such as sports. We can have them play soccer, basketball, tennis. We can even do other activities such as biking and hiking.
Where can they get more information?
I would recommend that they go online to kickitcalifornia.org.
Thank you to Eric, Rihanna, and Jacob for speaking to me and my co-host and helping us give you guys no filters and just facts. We'll see you guys next week on To Clear the Air podcast.
Hello, this is Dylan.
And Kimberly. We are from SVA, Stop Vaping Association, and our guests are
David,
Cristobal.
Cassandra, Aaliyah.
And they are here to discuss the effects, ingredients, and warnings on vape/tobacco products.
What are the main effects of vaping?
The side effects of vaping include
dry throat, cancer, nausea, and many more. I would personally hate it if I had a dry throat or nausea. My uncle would smoke, and the air around him wasn't good.
Oh, really? I have a similar story because I have a brother that smokes, and whenever I want to talk to him, I can't get near him because there is a chance I could get secondhand smoke side effects.
What are the ingredients inside of vape?
The ingredients inside vapes are aluminum, lead, and arsenic, and then tobacco is grown for their leaves, but they started putting it in cigarettes. Are there any warnings on these products, and why do you think there should be?
The reason Big Tobacco does not include more warnings is because they want to hook the younger crowd and get more customers.
Thank you, Aaliyah, and thank you for all our guests for their input. And thank you out there for listening. We have learned about the dangers of vaping, the lack of knowledge of ingredients, and warnings or lack of.
Don't vape, or you'll be planning your death date.
Good morning. This is Secondhand Smoke Cannot Be Though. I'm here with
Eva Leal, Nady Leal,
Diego Esquivel.
Abigail,
Odalis Diaz.
and today we will be talking about why smoking tobacco isn't good. Now, starting off with our first question. What is secondhand smoking and what do you know about secondhand smoking?
Secondhand smoke is when smokers exhale the smoke from the burning end of a cigarette. Many people don't know, but secondhand smoke kills more than 600,000 people worldwide each year.
Who is affected by secondhand smoke?
Everyone can be affected by secondhand smoke, even pets or babies. Pets are 2 times more likely to die of cancer. Babies can be affected by lingering particles on a smoker's clothes or hair. These particles can also land on anything near a smoker, like toys, food, or a blanket.
how can you keep yourself or others safe?
In order to protect others, it's important to keep in mind that smoking takes up a lot of space. Make sure you're at least 25 to 30 feet away. If you want to be close to people and in turn protect yourself, then put the commercial tobacco down.
Thank you for spending time out of your day and listening to the effects of secondhand smoke. And remember,
One smoke a day keeps all your loved ones away. So make sure you don't smoke.
Hey, welcome to the Real Cost of Vaping podcast. We're glad you could take some time to chat with us. Today we're excited to talk with you about some vaping problems we've been seeing in the community lately. Have you noticed an increase in youth or student vaping in our community?
Yes, I have heard what increased in the use of tobacco in many other schools before. I heard that many students younger than high schoolers vaped.
What are the health risks and effects that can happen due to vaping?
Some health risks consist of blurry vision and increased blood pressure. There's also an increase in cancer-causing chemicals and tiny particles found in vape aerosols that are found deep into the lungs.
What would be the best way we can come at this problem and make it better?
By spreading out to others what is the harm of tobacco. Another way to stop these harmful chemicals is from other merchants to not sell these drugs.
I hope after this you can consider living a healthier lifestyle and help prevent the youth from making bad choices for their physical and mental health in the nearby future. Avoid vaping so we can avoid health problems.
Hey Livni, thanks for being here today. I heard you're from Orland. I hear it's a beautiful town, but is there anything you think your town struggles with?
Yes, I am from Orland. It's a very beautiful but rural town. The majority of our population are immigrants, which makes us the perfect target for companies like Big Tobacco. This has caused issues with tobacco abuse with older generations and vaping with the younger generation.
That is a really big problem. You mentioned immigrants. Can you expand on how them being targeted affects their lifestyle?
First-gen kids here are hooked on vaping because of the lack of knowledge and support, and because of the way the media pushes tobacco on us. This causes kids to run with the wrong crowd, like wannabe gangs, which is why Orland's youth are currently struggling with vaping.
Those reasons make a lot of sense. Do you have any thoughts on how we can fix this?
We need to believe in students more and not push them away at the first sign of trouble. It really comes down to school, new curriculum to give kids the knowledge, and adults doing more than the bare minimum. Students just really want to be heard.
Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, don't get trapped in the cloud.
Hey, my name is Laura, and you're listening to Filthy Flavors. Let's get into it. Hey, Danny, I have a question. What's one issue in your day-to-day life that you'll like to talk about? Vaping is an issue with children. The tobacco industry targets children with their colorful and bright packaging and flavorings.
Why do children get addicted to vapes?
Once a child vapes, they can't stop. They get increased heart rate, blurry vision, mental health might decline, stomach aches, sore throat, and in some cases, it ends in lung cancer.
What do you think the solution to this issue could be? If tobacco industries would stop marketing vaping as fun, we would save lots of children's lives.
Thanks for joining us. You are listening to Filthy Flavors. And remember, just because it tastes good doesn't mean it is good.
Good afternoon. Our names are Elizabeth and Jocelyn. On our podcast, Unhealthy Habits, we will be discussing our topic, the cancers caused by tobacco, with our speakers, Daisy, Fabi, and Grace.
For question 1, we have, what is one way for individuals to prevent cancers?
One way you can prevent cancers is by avoiding tobacco usage and users.
What types of cancer is associated with tobacco?
The most common cancers associated by tobacco use is lung and kidney cancer. However, many other cancers are strongly linked to the tobacco use, including cancers of the mouth, throat, stomach, and bladder.
People who get cancer caused by tobacco products are less likely to receive medical treatment they need as opposed to someone who doesn't. That being said, what kinds of methods would you recommend to quit cancer-causing tobacco products?
Going to rehab, quitting unhealthy habits, choosing other methods to hyper-focus on.
Thank you for listening to our podcast and learning about ways to prevent cancer caused by tobacco products.
Only you can prevent your unhealthy habits.
Hi, welcome to High School Confessions, or rather, High School Confessions. I'm your host, Isabel, with my co-host, Jenny. Today we have 3 high school students giving us their insights on current issues faced on their campuses.
Today joining us are AJ, Amelia, and Megan. Take it away, Jenny.
So, AJ, what is the main issue that youth currently face on your school's campus?
Amazing question, Jenny. Currently, on my school's campus, our main issue is tobacco. Fun fact, tobacco is the #1 preventable cause of death in the US, and the reason is addiction. Vapes have lots of deadly ingredients, from flarings that are linked to serious lung diseases, heavy metals like tin, nickel, and lead, to even cancer-causing chemicals that kill alveoli in the lungs, decreasing the ability to breathe.
Wow, thank you, AJ. This seems like a pretty big issue. Now, back to you, Isabel.
What are some short-term health effects that happen to your body?
Some of these consequences are increased heart rate and blood pressure, bad breath, and stained teeth and fingers. Basically, you will be smelly and gross.
Thank you for that, Amelia.
All right, Megan, next question's for you. Do you know of any long-term health effects while using tobacco?
Good question. Some of the long-term health effects of using tobacco are having a weakened immune system, an increased risk of heart disease, heart attacks, and stroke. Not only does it affect your heart and immune system, it can cause blindness with cataracts, can lower bone density. Now, some people know smoking can cause cancer, but tobacco also causes cancer, like lung cancer, esophagus, larynx, mouth, throat, stomach, pancreas, cervix, and bladder cancer.
Thank you, Megan. Those are some pretty serious effects. Did you guys also know that nearly 90% of all adult smokers started smoking before the age of 18?
Just remember, don't be part of that statistic. Get help today. And remember to live your life through high school. Don't be high at school. That's all from High School Confessions. Tune in next time for more confessions.
Welcome to Vaping Reality. I'm host Jamie, here with host Elena. Today, we will be covering the effects of vaping. We have guests Daniel, Yessie, and Anita. Hey Daniel, what comes to your mind when you think of vaping?
So what naturally comes to mind is the health effects, such as factors like decreased blood circulation and a sore throat with lots of caffeine. What also comes to mind is the external factors, such as the people or material items you affect.
It's very interesting that you brought that up. Yessie, what are some things that you have noticed?
Well, the biggest thing I've noticed is that smokers don't realize how much them smoking really affects their pets and their loved ones. For example, secondhand smoke kills more than 600,000 people worldwide each year. Pets who also live in homes with smokers are 2 times more likely to die of cancer.
These are great statistics to mention. Anita, what could be implemented in your community to minimize the effects?
To minimize effects, more accurate advertisements need to be distributed. Schools need to show how detrimental the effects are and promote eye-catching signs.
Well, thank you for joining us today talking about this important topic. And remember, you wouldn't hit your pet, so don't hit the vape. Hey guys, I'm Cooper, and you're listening to Escape from the Vape. Let's get into it. Hey Brody, in your opinion, what do you find to be an unhealthy habit?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think vaping is an unhealthy habit. I see a lot of my peers vaping and how it affects them.
Could you list a few reasons why? Oh yeah, I can list a few reasons why. It weakens your immune system, and it can cause different types of cancer. It increases your blood pressure. It worsens your mental health, and many more.
Oh my god, that's a lot. Do you know any ways on how we can stop this?
Don't get me started. We could make more programs in schools, spread awareness, and stop marketing towards kids.
Instead of breathing flavored air, just breathe air. Thanks for listening.
Don't vape!
Welcome to Tea Time, where we make the tea and you spill the tea. I'm Anthony, and I'm here with Anthony and Daniel and Nicholas. Anthony, what are some ways to increase the health of our community?
Some ways that we can increase our health for our community is people not using tobacco as much, keeping drugs off the street, and not exposing drugs like tobacco, weed, and vaping to the youth. Because 90% of smokers started before age 18. So if you're exposed to secondhand smoke, get away from it. And if your friends are the ones doing it, be a good influence.
You guys heard it there, folks. Next up, I have Daniel. What are some long-term effects you can get from smoking?
That's a great question. The long-term effects of smoking could be things like gaining a weaker immune system, having a lower bone density, which makes it easier to break bones in your body, and having an increased risk of getting certain cancers like in the lung, mouth, throat, and stomach. People who are addicted to tobacco tend to ignore these negatives, only focusing on the short-term positives.
Well, those are a lot of long-term effects you can get from it. Next up is Nicholas. How could we prevent people from smoking?
Well, first of all, tobacco use is the most preventable cause of death in the United States. A great way to prevent people from smoking in the first place would be to raise awareness on the issue. Educating people on the ingredients inside cigarettes is important to make sure that they know what they're consuming and what consequences those ingredients have on other people and themselves.
There it is, folks. You heard it from these fine gentlemen that some long-term effects that you can get is a weaker immune system and a weaker body. Be tobacco-free, our health depends on it.
Hello and welcome to our podcast, Smoke Signals. My name is Devella Sampson. I have our guests, Max and Andrea, and our hosts are Alexis and Milo. And our program is about advertising smoking products for youth, and I'm going to pass it on to Andrea.
Why do people think it's okay to smoke?
That is a great question, Alexis. Thank you. People believe it's okay to smoke because of the advertisements and influences in their community. It's made to seem normal or something that's normalized. Sometimes it's even something that can seem like a coping mechanism, but it's not true.
Where do you see these advertisements the most?
You see these advertisements the most in minority communities and low-income households. It's very ingrained in Black culture and media, especially with kids thinking it's cool to smoke, seeing their family or friends, or adults with a need to escape that tough life.
Who is targeted the most?
People targeted the most are youth and minorities. This could be because of the stresses put on these communities, since these are often advertised as a coping mechanism to escape stresses put on them. A fact to back this up would be there are up to 10% more tobacco ads in neighborhoods where people are predominantly African American or Black. Another fact would be that 90% of adult smokers start before the age of 18.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To recap the main takeaways, tobacco companies target minority communities and youth through their advertisements. This was Smoke Signals, and this is our signal to you to not feed into tobacco ads.
Hi, I'm Kendall.
And I'm Liz.
And we're talking about vaping prevention.
And we are here with Elizabeth, Jojo, and Damien to answer some questions to educate our peers on vaping prevention.
So, why are so many people vaping?
One reason so many people are vaping is because of how much it is advertised. In 2019, tobacco companies spent $8.2 billion in marketing in just the US alone. This marketing brings more attention to vaping and decreases the stigma around it. This leads to many people being able to obtain tobacco products through their friends and peers. It's also become super normalized. In school, whenever somebody is vaping in the bathroom, it usually sets off the smoke alarm, and it happens so often that whenever it goes off, nobody even considers an actual fire. Everyone's just like, oh, there's another person vaping.
Thank you so much.
Question 2 is, how harmful is vaping?
Vaping, along with cannabis products, have different levels of harmfulness depending on the dose and how much you use it. Nicotine and THC are both harmful. Most people believe since they are two different products, they aren't similar in harm, but they both are highly addictive substances that can lead to health problems like strokes, cancer, and heart diseases, along with other health risks and other diseases. Nicotine is as addictive as heroin, cocaine, and alcohol. In these products, there are more than 70 cancer-causing chemicals in the cigarette smoke.
Question 3. How would one beat a vaping addiction?
Interventions are one of the best systems. Talking about your struggles can increase the effectiveness of quitting vaping. Also changing your habits, such as going for a run, eating better, really focusing on things that can help you instead of hurt you.
Thank you guys so much for answering our questions. We are the Anti-Vaping Society, and remember, stay away from vaping for a brighter day.
Hello everybody, I'm Daniel Beltran with the Grumpy Octopuses. Today we're talking about the effects of nicotine and tobacco products. Cameron, what are the substances in tobacco and nicotine products?
Many things other than tobacco are in these products. There are also small particles that enter the lungs, and 70 cancer-causing chemicals in the smoke. There is also heavy metals such as nickel, tin, and lead. This is disgusting. Why would someone want to breathe that in?
Not me, that's for sure. I wouldn't want any of that in my body. All right, Ari, I got a question for you. What are the effects of nicotine products?
Well, Daniel, there are many side effects that come from nicotine products, and trust me, none of them are positive. Some of the side effects of nicotine products include eye irritation, blurry vision, headaches, nausea, and severe respiratory problems. And the biggest problem of all, nicotine products can cause over 7 kinds of cancer. What kind of sucker would sign up for that?
Not me. I don't want that. Ugh, that sounds horrible. All right, Miley. How can people using these products get any help?
Well, there are many professionals and websites that you can get help from. One of them is kickitcalifornia.org. Or you can try to slowly wean off the product yourself and replace the product with a healthier option.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. And remember, vaping makes you a grumpy sucker.